The stars were quiet that day. In the vast Dominion space, the usual hum of alien traffic filled the void, but no one expected what was coming. A human fleet appeared on the edge of their controlled space, small at first, almost like a flicker of distant fireflies. Then they moved closer, steady and deliberate. Across the Dominion, alien eyes widened. Whispers ran through space stations and battlecruisers. Humans are here. In the Council Hall of Elders, tall, angular beings with scales and sharp eyes leaned forward in tension. "Are they alone?" hissed a green-skinned diplomat. His voice trembled, but not from fear, more from disbelief. The humans were rumored to be weak, primitive, and slow to respond. Yet somehow, they had crossed 1,000 light-years to reach the Dominion, unchallenged. On the bridge of the human flagship, Captain Elara stood calm. She looked at the holographic map of Dominion space, her hands resting lightly on the controls. Her crew bustled quietly, each moving with precision. No one panicked, no one spoke above a whisper. Humans never panicked. "Keep formation tight," she said, voice steady. "Remember, they don't know what we can do yet." Back in the Dominion, a war council convened. Aliens of different shapes and sizes argued fiercely. "We must strike now. They are vulnerable," shouted one, a being covered in shiny carapace. Another, a creature with 6 eyes, countered. "No, we underestimate them at our own risk. They survived the Edge War without allies. We do not know what humans are capable of." The debate raged, but decisions were slow. By the time they acted, the humans had already entered their territory. Ships that were supposed to intercept them never fired. For the first time, aliens felt the chill of doubt. Humans were not just survivors, they were unpredictable. Elara's ship glided past patrol fleets silently. Her crew followed her orders with exact timing. Humans moved like a single organism, coordinated yet flexible. They didn't attack. They didn't negotiate. They just advanced. That was worse for the Dominion. The humans were not playing by any known rules. Among the Dominion observers, fear began to grow. "They are calm, almost too calm," muttered a blue-skinned envoy. "It is unsettling. No species can be this composed in unknown territory." In a remote observation deck, young Lieutenant Kor stared at the human fleet. He had trained for years to anticipate threats, but humans were different. His mind raced. They have no fear, and no weapons drawn. How can they be so fearless? Meanwhile, humans set up a communication probe. It emitted a pulse, a message sent across the Dominion, a greeting, simple but clear. "We are here to explore, and to understand. We do not wish to fight. Yet we will not back down." The message stunned alien leadership. No one had dared speak with honesty before invading or defending their territory. As the sun of the Dominion's central planet cast long shadows across its cities, humans landed quietly on a small moon. Scientists and soldiers moved together. They examined the environment with careful curiosity. Nothing was too small, nothing too dangerous. The aliens watched from a distance, still unsure if this was a trick. That night, in a dimly lit alien council chamber, a warning spread. "These humans, they are unlike anything we imagined. They are small in number, yet their courage is immense. If we strike at them carelessly, we risk exposure, shame, or worse, defeat." But not everyone was afraid. Some were intrigued. A few alien leaders whispered among themselves. Could humans be an ally? Or a threat so great we cannot ignore them? On the human moon base, Elara looked at her crew. "Rest now. Tomorrow, we learn. But remember, we are humans. We adapt. We survive. And no one has ever underestimated us without regret." No one on the Dominion realized that the humans had already begun their work. They mapped hidden territories, studied alien technology from afar, and recorded behavior patterns of Dominion species. Everything was precise, efficient, and almost invisible. By the time the Dominion prepared a response, humans would already be one step ahead. Late into the night, a small squad of alien scouts attempted to investigate the humans' landing site. They found an empty field. No humans. No tracks. Nothing. Just the faintest trace of energy left behind, like a ghost had walked through. Panic rippled through the Dominion forces. How can they vanish like that? One asked, shaking. The humans watched the aliens from hidden sensors, and for the first time, the Dominion began to truly fear them. Not for strength or firepower, but for unpredictability. No one had ever faced a species that combined intellect, bravery, and subtlety in such a terrifying way. The first day ended without bloodshed, but suspense hung thick in every corner of the Dominion. One thing was certain, the arrival of humans had changed everything. And those who thought they could easily conquer or control them were about to learn a lesson in caution, strategy, and respect. In the cold expanse of space, under distant stars, humans had entered the Dominion, and no one knew what they were capable of next. The Dominion had never faced an enemy like the humans. By the second day, fleets of alien ships surrounded the human positions near the moon. From a distance, the humans watched, calm as ever. Captain Alara stood on the bridge of her flagship, scanning the incoming vessels. Her eyes narrowed. "They are testing us," she said softly. "Let them come. We will respond on our terms." In the Dominion War Council, panic was rising. "We have them trapped. We should attack now," shouted a four-armed general. His claws scraped the table in anger. "No," hissed a council elder, her translucent wings quivering. "They are too strange. We do not understand them. If we attack blindly, we may lose more than we gain." The humans had already anticipated this. Sensors had mapped the Dominion formations long before they moved. The ships that looked formidable on the surface were poorly coordinated, slow to respond. The humans shared silent signals across their fleet, moving like a single mind. As the Dominion ships approached, they were met with a surprise. Small drones emerged from human vessels, moving faster than any known technology in the Dominion. They disrupted communications, jammed engines, and created illusions of multiple human ships where there were none. Dominion commanders grew confused, shouting orders that reached no one. On the moon, squads of human soldiers prepared for ground confrontation. Lieutenant Kor, a young alien officer, had sneaked ahead to observe. He could not believe what he saw. Humans moved like shadows, appearing and disappearing, striking only when it was perfectly timed. One human soldier disabled a massive robotic sentry with a single carefully placed device, leaving Kor dumbfounded. "How can they be so precise, so fearless?" he whispered to himself. Captain Alara observed everything with a quiet satisfaction. "They think they control the fight," she said. "But we decide when it begins. Patience is our weapon." The first clash came unexpectedly. A Dominion cruiser tried to strike a human outpost with heavy plasma cannons. Humans had anticipated the attack. In seconds, countermeasures disabled the cruiser's engines. It spun helplessly, its crew panicking. Human ships did not fire, they simply let Dominion mistakes destroy themselves. Alien observers were shocked. "No one fights like this," one exclaimed. "They are not reckless. They are something else entirely." Another, more cautious, added, "We have never seen a species win without striking first. It is terrifying." Meanwhile, on the moon, a Dominion assault team landed, hoping to capture a human base. They were met with silence. Suddenly, the ground seemed alive. Humans appeared from hidden tunnels and shadows, surrounding the aliens. They did not scream, they did not panic. They moved in perfect coordination, disabling weapons, capturing key soldiers, and vanishing before reinforcements arrived. Lieutenant Kor watched from a distance, his jaw tight. "They are not just clever, they are inhuman in their focus," he muttered. His team barely survived the encounter, retreating in disarray. "We underestimated them," Kor admitted bitterly. Back in the Dominion War Council, tempers flared. "We must call reinforcements. They cannot be stopped by a few ships," a general roared. Reinforcements will not help, replied the elder. Humans adapt. Every attack we plan, they have already predicted. We are not facing soldiers. We are facing a force of nature. As the first day of conflict ended, humans had lost almost nothing, yet Dominion morale was shattered. Alien fleets withdrew to regroup, confused and afraid. Dominion leaders could not understand how such a small human force had caused so much chaos. Captain Alara watched the retreating enemy. Let them think they have won a day, she said. Tomorrow, we teach them a lesson they will never forget. That night, humans worked silently. Engineers repaired drones, soldiers trained in virtual simulations, and scientists studied alien technology and communication. They shared knowledge quickly and efficiently, learning more about the Dominion in a single day than any alien could in a year. In a hidden Dominion command center, Kor and his officers tried to make sense of human tactics. They do not fear death, one said. They do not panic under pressure. Every move is calculated. How can one species combine such bravery and logic? But the humans were not reckless. Alara knew the importance of every life. Her strategy was not to destroy blindly, but to outthink the enemy at every turn. Fear and fire are tools, she said. We use neither unless necessary. Every action is a step toward victory, not chaos. As dawn approached, Dominion commanders prepared another assault. This time, they intended to overwhelm the humans with numbers. But humans had already anticipated it. New drones, traps, and hidden defenses awaited. The aliens would walk into a carefully prepared maze of surprises. Before the attack began, Alara addressed her crew. Remember, we are humans. Others will doubt us. They will fear us. But we are never stopped by doubt or fear. Today, we do not just survive. We show them why humans are unstoppable. The first real battle of the Dominion War was about to begin, and the humans were ready, not just to fight, but to redefine what every alien species thought possible. In the Dominion, whispers spread like wildfire. We cannot fight them with strength alone. They are not like us. They are something beyond. And far above the moon, the human fleet waited silently, calm and patient, ready to shock the Dominion again. The Dominion was shaken. Fleet after fleet had failed to challenge the humans, and whispers of fear spread through council chambers across the galaxy. Some alien factions began to question the wisdom of their leaders. Could humans be allies? Or were they a threat too dangerous to ignore? In the Grand Council Hall, glowing crystals illuminated the faces of alien diplomats. Each race had its own agenda. The silver-scaled Zariath wanted humans destroyed before they learned too much. The four-eyed Murlocs argued for cautious diplomacy, hoping humans could be turned into allies. But hidden beneath the formal debate, suspicion and fear lingered like a thick fog. Meanwhile, humans remained quiet. Captain Alara and her officers monitored the Dominion's communications and movements. Humans had learned quickly that power was not always measured by weapons. It was often measured by understanding. They observed every council meeting, every secret transmission, every subtle gesture of the alien races. In a remote chamber, a Dominion minister whispered to his aide, "If humans are not stopped, they will control everything we hold dear. They are too clever, too brave, and too calm." His aide nodded, shaking with unease. "I've seen them," he said. "They do not panic. They do not rush. It is unnatural." The council decided on a test. They would send a delegation to meet the humans on neutral ground. Some hoped to negotiate, others intended to spy, gather secrets, and sabotage. They assumed humans were like other species, predictable, motivated by fear or greed. They were wrong. On the neutral moon, humans prepared for the arrival of the Dominion delegation. Alara walked among her crew. "Remember," she said, "we show respect. We do not provoke, but we do not yield." They must learn that humans are not to be underestimated. The delegation arrived, a mixed group of ambassadors, spies, and soldiers disguised as diplomats. They were careful, armed with hidden weapons, ready for anything. But humans had anticipated this. Sensors and observation posts recorded every movement before they even landed. Ilara greeted the delegation personally, her calm presence unsettling even the most confident aliens. "Welcome," she said. "We are humans. We come to understand, and to be understood. Let us speak openly, without fear." The aliens exchanged nervous glances. Some had expected bluster or aggression. Instead, they faced measured words, steady eyes, and a silent confidence that unnerved even the bravest. As discussions began, humans demonstrated something no Dominion species had ever encountered: patience and foresight. Every question was answered clearly, every proposal weighed carefully. Yet hidden in their calm was a quiet observation. Nothing escaped their notice. Every gesture, every hesitation, every flicker of expression was recorded and analyzed. One Zariath diplomat tried to intimidate a human officer. "Do you understand the consequences if you betray us?" he hissed. The human officer smiled faintly. "We understand consequences. We also understand truth. That is why we act with caution and wisdom. And we never underestimate anyone." The tension grew as hidden spies attempted to breach human defenses during the meeting. They were caught before causing harm. The humans had anticipated their moves, neutralizing the threat without a single shot fired. The Dominion delegation grew wary. Humans were not just clever, they were always several steps ahead. Outside the meeting chamber, Lieutenant Core watched from a hidden observation post. He was impressed and terrified. "They know everything," he muttered. "Every deception, every trick. How can they see through us so easily?" Within the council chambers, the discussion turned political. Some alien factions wanted to ally with humans, believing they could use their intelligence and courage. Others feared them, insisting that humans must be destroyed before they grew stronger. Every argument became louder, more urgent, more desperate. Humans did not intervene directly. They let the aliens reveal their true intentions through words, actions, and mistakes. By the time the meeting ended, humans had learned more about the Dominion's divisions than any spy could gather in months. As the delegation departed, Captain Ilara addressed her crew. "They think they understand us. They do not. They reveal their fears, their alliances, and their weaknesses. That knowledge is more powerful than any weapon." Lieutenant Arden, one of Ilara's officers, frowned. "Do you think they will try to attack us after this?" Ilara shook her head. "They may try. But today, we have already won. Knowledge is our first victory. And knowledge cannot be taken by force." That night, the human team worked quietly, analyzing every snippet of Dominion communication they had recorded. Patterns emerged. Rivalries, secret alliances, and betrayals became clear. Humans were not just surviving, they were preparing for what would come next. In the Dominion, panic and confusion grew. Whispers filled the council chambers. How can a few humans understand the galaxy so quickly? How can they remain calm in the face of danger? Lieutenant Core wrote reports frantically, his hands shaking. He realized that humans were not just clever, they were unpredictable. They did not react like other species. They adapted, observed, and controlled situations without firing a shot. Far above the neutral moon, the human fleet drifted silently, waiting. Captain Ilara knew the Dominion would soon test them in ways that could be deadly. But humans were ready, not with brute force, but with patience, intelligence, and courage. The galaxy had begun to whisper about humans. Not as invaders. Not as diplomats. But as a force that could not be ignored, a species that could defy expectations and change the rules of war, diplomacy, and survival forever. And in the heart of the Dominion, fear and fascination grew side by side. Every leader, every soldier, every spy understood one unshakable truth: humans were unlike anything they had ever faced. The first step in diplomacy had ended. The next step, a test of loyalty, strength, and cunning, was coming. And when it arrived, the Dominion would discover that humans were not merely participants in the galaxy, they were shapers of its future. The Dominion had begun to realize the humans were more than soldiers or explorers. They were thinkers, strategists, and problem-solvers, unlike any species they had faced before. Rumors spread quietly among alien fleets. Humans possessed technology that seemed impossible. Some whispered of devices that could make ships vanish. Others claimed humans could predict moves before anyone else. Captain Alara stood on the bridge of her flagship, observing the Dominion fleets gathering near the neutral zone. Her calm eyes scanned the ships as if reading their minds. "They are curious," she said softly, "and fearful. Both are mistakes. Curiosity can be exploited. Fear can be amplified." Below deck, engineers worked on a new device, something even the Dominion would not understand. It was sleek, small, and silent. The machine could disrupt communication systems, disable weapons, and create illusions that made entire fleets appear where there were none. Humans had developed it quietly over months, studying alien systems from afar. Lieutenant Arden watched the engineers. "Do you really think this will work?" he asked. Ilara smiled faintly. "It will work better than they expect. But remember, it is not the machine alone. It is how we use it, how we combine it with strategy, observation, and timing. That is what makes humans different." Meanwhile, in the Dominion Council, alien leaders debated their next move. "We cannot allow humans to grow stronger," hissed a Zariath general. "We must attack now, before they gain an advantage." "They are patient," countered a Murlocs diplomat. "And intelligent. If we strike recklessly, we will lose. I say we attempt diplomacy first. Perhaps we can learn from them, or join them." The division within the Dominion grew, unknowingly playing into the humans' hands. Every disagreement, every hesitation, every secret argument was observed, noted, and stored for future use. Humans had turned confusion into a weapon. The first demonstration of the secret device came sooner than expected. A Dominion fleet attempted to blockade a supply station near the outer rim. They believed their numbers would overwhelm the humans. But as they approached, communications faltered. Sensors glitched. Ships that should have been visible appeared in multiple locations at once. The Dominion fleet was paralyzed. Captains shouted orders, but engines misfired and weapons jammed. Humans watched from a distance, calm as ever. The effect was silent, devastating, and terrifying. No one was hurt, yet the Dominion fleet retreated in confusion, unsure if they had been attacked or tricked by illusions. Lieutenant Kor, observing from a nearby station, could hardly comprehend what he saw. "Impossible," he muttered. "They are predicting us. They are everywhere and nowhere at the same time." On the human flagship, Ilara addressed her officers. "They will test us again," she said. "But we must remember, the greatest weapon is knowledge. This device is only a tool. Understanding their minds, predicting their fears, and staying calm will win this war faster than any weapon." Back in the Dominion Council, panic grew. "They have technology we cannot counter," shouted a blue-skinned officer. "They do not fight like any species. How can a few humans control entire fleets without firing a shot?" Yet even as fear spread, a few leaders remained intrigued. "Perhaps they are not our enemies," whispered a Murlocs diplomat. "Perhaps humans could be allies, if we can earn their trust. But first, we must survive long enough to approach them." Ilara knew the Dominion would test them in ways they could not predict. And she welcomed it. Every challenge was an opportunity to learn, to adapt, to demonstrate why humans were unlike any other species in the galaxy. That night, the humans worked quietly. Engineers tested the device in simulations. Soldiers trained in stealth and observation. Scientists studied the Dominion's movements, noting weaknesses, patterns, and hidden alliances. Every action was deliberate. Every decision was calculated. Meanwhile, in secret, the Dominion attempted their own reconnaissance. A small fleet slipped past patrols to study the humans' positions. But the humans were ready. Sensors detected the intruders, and automated systems created illusions that misled them, sending ships in wrong directions, hiding entire outposts behind invisible energy fields. The Dominion fleet returned, frustrated and shaken. They had not lost ships or lives, yet the humans had already won, without firing a shot. The whispers grew. They are invincible. They are not like any species we know. Captain Alara gathered her crew on the observation deck. "Remember this," she said. "They will try to test us, and they will fail if we remain calm. Technology is powerful, but it is only one part of victory. Strategy, observation, and courage, these are human strengths. Never forget that." The humans had revealed their first secret weapon, but the galaxy had only seen a fraction of their potential. Dominion leaders were beginning to realize that this war was not about numbers, ships, or weapons alone. It was about unpredictability, ingenuity, and the human spirit. As dawn broke over the neutral moon, alien fleets retreated once more. Dominion officers reported confusion, fear, and failure. "They are not just soldiers," Kor admitted reluctantly. "They are something beyond our understanding. And we are not ready for it." High above the planet, Captain Alara looked at the rising sun, her face calm and determined. Humans had begun their campaign not with fire, but with subtlety and intelligence. And the Dominion would learn soon enough. Humans were not just participants in the galaxy. They were forces that could change it forever. The first demonstration of humans' secret technology had ended. But the real war, the one that would test courage, strategy, and loyalty, was only beginning. And the Dominion had no idea what humans would do next. The Dominion had had enough. Multiple alien fleets converged on the human positions, their combined numbers far greater than anything humans had faced before. Ships filled the skies above the neutral moon, engines roaring, weapons ready. The Council had decided, the humans must be crushed before they could grow stronger. Captain Alara stood on the bridge of her flagship, calm as always. She studied the incoming fleets on the holographic map. "They believe numbers will win," she said softly. "They are about to learn the first lesson. Humans fight with mind as well as strength." Lieutenant Arden checked weapon systems and drones. "We are outnumbered, Captain. Hundreds of ships against us," he said. His voice betrayed concern. Ilara smiled faintly. "We have something they do not. Patience, observation, and strategy. Let them come." The first wave struck without warning. Plasma beams sliced through space as Dominion ships fired blindly at human positions. But humans had prepared. Automated drones intercepted attacks, creating decoys and illusions. Human ships appeared where there were none, vanished from sensors, and struck Dominion vessels in ways the aliens could not anticipate. On the moon's surface, Dominion ground troops attempted to land. They were met with a human defensive network that seemed almost alive. Hidden turrets, electromagnetic traps, and stealth squads disabled enemy units before they could take control. Soldiers were captured or forced to retreat, bewildered by the humans' coordination and timing. Lieutenant Kor, watching from a distant command station, could not believe his eyes. How can a few humans do all this?" he whispered. His voice trembled. "They are unstoppable." The battle raged for hours. Dominion fleets fired relentlessly, yet human losses were minimal. Drones repaired damage as it occurred, while soldiers adapted tactics instantly to every attack. Humans did not panic, did not rush, did not make mistakes. Every move was calculated, every action precise. Captain Alara observed silently, issuing only a few commands. "Focus on their weaknesses," she said. "Use their own mistakes against them. Do not waste energy on their strength. Let them reveal themselves." And the Dominion did. Ships collided due to miscommunication, formations broke apart, and commanders lost control. Humans exploited every error. A single squadron disabled an entire fleet's central command system, leaving the aliens in chaos. Another human team infiltrated a Dominion cruiser, using stealth and technology to shut down engines and weapons without harming a single alien life. Kor watched helplessly as his fleet faltered. They are not fighting like anyone we know, he admitted bitterly. They do not rely on brute force. They rely on intelligence, patience, and courage. And they always win. Despite their fear, some Dominion leaders tried to negotiate, sending messages begging for a ceasefire. Humans replied simply, "We fight only when necessary. We do not strike unless we must. Learn from this. We do not panic. We do not rush. We adapt. You cannot control humans. You can only understand them." The battle turned into a dance of strategy and foresight. Human forces anticipated every move, countering attacks before they happened. Dominion fleets were battered not by firepower alone, but by confusion, errors, and their own miscalculations. By the end of the first day, Dominion casualties were heavy, morale shattered. Human losses were minimal. On the human flagship, Captain Alara addressed her crew. "They will try again," she said. "They will strike harder, with more ships, more weapons. But remember this, humans do not fight blindly. We are clever. We are patient. And we never forget what we learn." Below deck, engineers worked tirelessly, repairing systems and enhancing their secret devices. Soldiers trained in new strategies, adapting to every Dominion tactic. Every human understood the stakes. Every human believed in the mission. In the Dominion command, panic spread like wildfire. Leaders screamed at each other, accusations flying. "We cannot beat them," shouted one general. "How can a species so small dominate us with such ease?" Another elder whispered quietly to a trusted aide, "They are not like us. They think differently. They act differently. And we cannot predict them. If we continue this war, we will lose more than ships. We will lose control of the galaxy." By nightfall, the Dominion fleets retreated again, battered and demoralized. Humans had not just survived, they had turned overwhelming odds into a demonstration of skill, intelligence, and courage. Rumors began to spread. Humans were invincible, unstoppable, and impossible to predict. Lieutenant Arden shook his head in disbelief. "We faced them in every simulation, every war game, every strategy lesson, and humans still surprise us. How do they do it?" Ilara stood quietly, looking at the stars. "Because humans are not bound by fear or habit," she said softly. "We adapt. We learn. And above all, we never give up. That is why no species has ever truly conquered humans, and no species ever will." In the Dominion, whispers turned to stories of fear and awe. "The humans are not like anything we know," admitted Kor. "They are clever, brave, and calm when all else falls apart. If we continue to fight them, we risk everything." But for humans, the battle was only the beginning. The Dominion had been tested, and humans had won without relying solely on firepower. They had shown what courage, intelligence, and strategy could achieve. And the galaxy had begun to understand. Humans were not just fighters, they were legends in the making. As the last Dominion ships retreated into the void, the human fleet regrouped silently. Captain Alara spoke once more. "Tomorrow, they will come again. And tomorrow, we will be ready. Not with panic, not with brute force, but with the greatest weapon we have, human ingenuity." The stars were quiet again, but this time, the galaxy had changed. Humans had entered the Dominion, and they had already rewritten the rules of war. The Dominion had thrown everything they had at the humans. Fleets of warships, secret assassins, spies, and saboteurs, all united under a single purpose, to crush humanity before it could become a threat. Yet, each attack had failed. Dominion leaders were exhausted, fearful, and increasingly divided. Captain Alara stood on the bridge of the flagship, calm as ever. Her eyes scanned the Dominion fleets converging in the distance. "They think they can overwhelm us," she said softly. "They do not understand humans. They do not understand patience, courage, or ingenuity. And today, they will learn." Lieutenant Arden glanced at the incoming fleets, then back at Alara. "Captain, there are hundreds more ships than ours. Are we ready for this?" Alara smiled faintly. "Readiness is not in numbers. Readiness is in the mind. In knowing your enemy. In knowing yourself. And humanity has never lost when it knows both." The battle began with a sudden strike. Dominion ships opened fire, plasma beams cutting through the void, engines flaring. But humans had prepared. Drones intercepted weapons, creating illusions that made fleets appear in multiple positions at once. Ships vanished and reappeared, striking from unexpected angles. The Dominion's largest vessels were disabled before they could fire again. On the moon, human soldiers moved with perfect coordination. Every squad anticipated Dominion maneuvers before they happened, disarming traps, capturing strategic positions, and neutralizing enemy commanders with minimal force. Humans did not panic. They adapted, learned, and turned every Dominion move against them. Lieutenant Kor, watching from a distant observation station, could hardly believe what he saw. How can they be everywhere at once? How can a few humans control so much? His voice trembled. They are something else. Even as Dominion fleets pressed harder, humans had anticipated their tactics. Hidden mines disrupted formations, stealth drones disabled engines silently, and communication jammers caused confusion. Every attack the Dominion planned backfired, leaving humans in control of the battlefield. Captain Alara addressed her crew. "This is the moment we have trained for. Remember, fear is useless. Panic is useless. Adapt, observe, and strike only when necessary. Humanity survives and triumphs not through force alone, but through intelligence, courage, and unity." The Dominion tried one last desperate move. A massive warship, the size of a small moon, moved to strike the human fleet directly. Its weapons could destroy dozens of human ships in seconds. But humans were ready. Using a combination of stealth, drones, and precise coordination, they disabled its engines, blocked its weapons, and trapped it in a field it could not escape. In minutes, the flagship was immobilized, a symbol of Dominion failure. Back in the Dominion command, panic turned into despair. Leaders argued, blamed each other, and realized too late that humans were not just clever, they were unstoppable in ways they could not comprehend. "They do not fight like any species we know," admitted Kor quietly. "They think, they adapt, they survive, and they win." Humans did not seek revenge or destruction. After the final victory, they offered a clear message to the Dominion: "We do not wish to conquer. We wish to be understood. But we will not be underestimated. Respect humans, or be outsmarted." The galaxy began to whisper about humans. Not as invaders. Not as mere soldiers. But as a force that could not be ignored, a species that combined courage, intelligence, and heart in ways no one had ever imagined. Stories of human ingenuity spread from planet to planet, inspiring awe and respect. Captain Alara stood on the observation deck, watching the remnants of Dominion fleet's retreat. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. "Humans have entered the galaxy, and we will leave our mark. Not through fear, but through courage, intelligence, and unity. That is what makes us human." Lieutenant Arden, standing beside her, nodded. "We've survived the impossible. And we've won." Alara looked at the stars, calm and determined. "Winning is not enough. We must teach the galaxy to respect humans. Not for our weapons, but for our spirit. That is what makes humanity a force no one can ignore." Back on the neutral moon, human soldiers gathered quietly, repairing systems, analyzing data, and preparing for the next challenge. Though victorious, they never grew complacent. Every encounter had taught them something. Every battle had strengthened them. And every alien species they met now understood a simple truth: humans were clever, fearless, and united like no other. In the Dominion, a new respect began to grow. Even the fiercest opponents could not deny the human strength, not in weapons, but in mind, courage, and strategy. Some began to seek alliances, hoping to learn from humanity rather than fight it. Others continued in fear, knowing that the humans' next move could change the galaxy entirely. And so, humans entered the Dominion, not as conquerors, but as legends. A species small in number, yet vast in courage and intelligence. A species that faced impossible odds and turned them into triumph. A species that taught the galaxy that fear could not stop them, and that respect must be earned, not assumed. Captain Alara gazed at the stars one last time before retreating to her quarters. "The galaxy is vast," she whispered. "And humans are ready. Wherever there is challenge, wherever there is danger, humans will face it. And we will endure. We always do." The Dominion had learned its final lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated, not now, not ever. And the galaxy would never forget the day humanity entered and changed the Dominion forever.